Well, hello guys. Welcome to this episode of Full Send. As you can see, Kiefer is fucking late as always. But
What? I was waiting on yourself for
no,
another.
who just came into the scene? You did. So thank you very much. Make sure you get that edited in there. But punctuality and imposter syndrome. No. On this one, we're going to be talking about dealing with imposter syndrome. Again, this is Juan, got Keith, and this is Full Send. So
Let's send it.
we'll say roll the intro, but fuck, you didn't. I thought you said I had the intro to this one.
You did.
So why'd you jump?
Because I felt left out.
We should have got here. Roll the intro.
Let's get straight to the point. This what you do and what you don't do. No bullshit, sugarcoat when it comes to repairs and maintenance. Advice you can go to. For sin, no edits, cause just go to. For sin, and we'll get you done right. For sin, and we'll get you going right. For sin, keep it going day and night. If this ain't just a podcast, we get it right and keep it tight.
So,
right.
Kiefer, how are you, buddy?
I'm good.
Yeah, so it's hot, and we're rolling up, approaching NATDA, so that's right around the corner. So yeah, fun for that.
Man, the NATDA is right around the corner. We're still prepping for that. We're getting all the booth designs finished up and figured out, as well as I'm still finalizing the outline and speaking points for the class I'm teaching.
Yeah.
And then more like perfect topic for today, because I struggle with imposter syndrome like crazy. And
I'm about to say, this is a subject you put on there.
I did. So tell us what imposter syndrome is.
Hell, I don't know. Kiefer. No, for real. Let's see. What is imposter syndrome? I'll read it from the book.
Well, simply put, it's feeling like a fraud where you're at in life, whether it's career, whether it's in the home life, whatever. It's you're doubting yourself. You know, you don't think you can live up to, or you don't fit into what you're doing.
Too big for your shoes in a sort of way.
Yeah.
And a lot of us actually deal with that in some sort of fashion, whether we admit it or not.
A lot of high achievers do. I know for me, I'm a very insecure person, and I'm going to be a little vulnerable on this episode, but the signs of imposter syndrome: inability to accept praise, attributing your success to luck or external factors outside of yourself, and then fear of failure and persistent self-doubt.
Couldn't you throw in there also continuous
Self-deprecation?
No, what would the word be? Where you need constant approval.
I mean, that's insecurities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of covered in that. But I know, oh man, when I became creative director.
Bring a tissue.
Bring a tissue. You have a rag?
For you.
Oh no, I'm good.
Oh, it sounds like you're about to get emotional.
No.
Bring a tissue.
I remember when I became creative director and everything was thrust upon me in that role. It's like, I don't feel like I should be here. I don't have like I don't have these capabilities. I can't do this. And it's been like that since. In my mind, I'm always doubting myself. You know, I'd rather not start something for fear of failure than actually dive into it, accomplish it, and take credit for it on my own. And it's been a really long ride. And then also inside of my personal life, I remember one of my friends had passed away, and his parents, his father, Presbyterian minister, hardcore, like learned godly man. Like he helped disciple some other ministers that I know. He gave me a lot of good input on stuff. And we were, me and Ryan, we were doing his funeral, and he had, his father was like, "Are you ordained?" And I was like, "I am." He's like, "Then you're reverend." Putting that on there. And I was like, "Well, what?" At that moment, I've never had imposter syndrome hit me so hard. Because he's like, "Reverend Likens." And I was like, technically, yes, but
Father Likens. Father Likens.
But
or preacher.
That was like the moment, like if I've ever had imposter syndrome, that was the moment that like threw me off the cliff and right into it. And like I said, I'm a very insecure person. I don't like getting compliments. I don't know how to handle compliments, even though
you really don't.
Because I'm insecure. I seek out compliments. It's like this, that image of the worm eating or the snake eating itself, like the what is it called? Yeah, the Ouroboros. And it's like never ending circle. It's like I get compliments. I don't know what to do with them. I don't like them, but I seek them out. I get a compliment. I don't know what to do with it. I don't like it. I seek them out.
You get a compliment and you try to break it down like where you could do better. I'm not saying that you do, but
no, that's exactly what I do.
People do is like, well, where did I do wrong, or how could I do better, or how could I?
And I was at a men's conference in Arkansas, and Dr. Chuck Stecker, guy I knew through ministry stuff, he was talking to me, and he gave me a really, really good compliment. And I was like, nah, yeah, you must be crazy, whatever. And he's like, "Come here." And this general and he's a retired general from the Army, Special Forces, like White House meetings, that kind of stuff. So he commands a presence wherever he's at. And he looked me straight in the face and said, "Kiefer, if I give you a compliment, you take that compliment. If you want to puke that up, you stuff it down. If you want to deny it, I'm going to slap you in the face. I'm done."
Did he slap you?
No, he did not. But I've taken that. That was, man, I was 22, 23 at that time. And that's always stood with me because he was like, someone giving you a compliment isn't only for you. It makes that person feel good too. So if you deny that, you're denying them their side of that.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me. And I kind of had to reframe my mind around that aspect of things. So I still have trouble with compliments and praises because I don't know. Up here, I'm messed up. I don't understand. I seek them out, but I don't like them. But at the same time, I've had to reframe my mind because of that conversation, and that's helped. And so when you get in a position of like leadership at work or taking on more roles where you have more responsibilities and things depend on you and you're freaking out, because I still to this day, I'm leading a team of creatives. I picture it as herding cats, right? What happens. Hopefully nothing screws up. Like, you can't control cats. But at the same time,
the cat woman.
Meow. Meow. But the thing I have to realize is I am leading this team. The structure I've put into place is working. The leadership I'm giving is working. The training I'm giving is working. And I've got to accept that as I'll take responsibility for when things screw up, but I don't want to take responsibility for things when it wins, right? Because I don't feel like I should get that praise for whatever reason, So that's imposter syndrome.
And Kiefer's life story.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, on the next episode.
But how do you handle this?
Yeah, true.
How do you deal with a person that is in a leadership position around you that has this, or if you have it yourself how do you function with this?
I don't know. That's a good question because, after you opening up, and this is like a therapy.
You see me.
This is a therapy. Let me get my pad out. Let me start.
And the couch is gone. We have these chairs now.
No, seriously. Everybody, like I said, everybody goes through it. With me, let's see. It was sales to sales manager to
Operations and sales manager.
products, yeah, something in between than that, and then where I'm at now. I've never had issues leading people, giving directions, none of that. From my experience with working in prison and everything else. But what got me was the quiet downtime. Everything's going, but you don't hear nothing back. So you don't have no feedback to feed off of.
And you kind of spiral, and
So
it's like that whole Friday evening at 5, you get a text message or a Slack message. Hey, will you come see me Monday morning?
yeah,
I need to talk to you Monday morning. Nothing else. And Tyler, the owner of this company, will do that to me on purpose now. And Lacey's done it to me a couple of times. It's, hey, meeting 8 o'clock in the morning, or hey, need to discuss something important. I'll call you Monday.
yeah.
And I just go into the spiral. That's all I can think about. Like, okay, am I getting fired? What did I do wrong? And literally both last times that happened, it's, hey, I just wanted to give you kudos on that email that went out, the good revenue. I was like, you, and they're just sitting there smug and happy, just like, we knew it. And it, not the way to handle the imposter syndrome that someone goes through, but at the same time, because like I'm always like looking over my shoulder, like, oh crap, where's the next like mound of crap going to come from? And it never comes because I'm fit for the role I'm in. But at the same time, mentally, I'm struggling with that.
So yeah, with me, it's more of, so I try to keep an open line with my team. And I'm not saying Caitlin and Tyler ain't doing that with me, but it's more of before where I was in my current position, in my last, when I was in sales manager, the person that was over me, we really never talked. So it was like, well, does this fucking person like me? Did I not tell him happy birthday? I mean, am I doing something wrong? Like,
did I get the wrong kind of donut last Friday for him, or what?
Take his donut. I mean, it's just a lot of what ifs, which there was nothing behind it. It's just your one self thought of overthinking shit. And everybody goes through that in some shape or form or fashion. Whether the level of anxiety is low or high, it's all there. But I mean, everybody does it in some sort of fashion. And how do you combat it? How do you go over it? I mean, there's plenty of literature that you can read, plenty of books on how to become a great boss, or there's Staying 5 Steps Ahead is a great book to read. I think that's the title of it.
So one of the books that I didn't read the whole thing, I kind of skimmed through it because I'm horrible about reading for anything other than absolute learning, is The Imposter Cure by Dr. Jessamy Hibbard. A whole book on imposter syndrome and how to overcome that and like get through it. But if you're not a book person, look for, if you're dealing with this, look for things where you're struggling with the imposter syndrome, where you think you're not good enough or think you can't, but there's a track record that you can, and diving into those things, right? Realizing the achievements you've had, realizing that you are fit for the role you're in, or else 90% of the time you wouldn't be there, because you're not going to pull the wool over a hiring manager's eyes because they've seen it all. They've been through it all. And then also find a mentor, have that person that you can go to and talk through things. I don't know how many times conversations I've had with the couple mentors in my life that I've had. Dude, I'm struggling with this. And they point out these things and I'm like, oh snap. Yeah, you're right. Thank you for that. And if you're dealing with a person that is struggling with it, positive affirmations.
Or mess with them and send them a Slack at Friday at 5 o'clock saying, we're going to talk Monday at 8 o'clock. It helps build their core to it.
But letting people know that in certain situations, that failure is not the end of everything, right? I don't know how many inspirational quotes about like business motivation or entrepreneurship. It's, failure is a part of success. You're going to fail.
True.
It's inevitable.
You can't be successful without failure because you can't learn whether it's your mistakes or someone else's mistakes.
Yep.
Someone has to fail in order for you to succeed.
I forget where I heard it at, but 5 or 6 years ago, I was listening to a sermon and they were talking about forgiveness and repentance and that line of things when it comes to salvation. But he said that there's 2 options.
Yeah,
when you fail, you can fall backwards or you can fall 1 foot forward. That just resonated with me because just like when you're talking to your kids, you're like, well, you have one of your kids angry at the other. Well, they made me do it. No, nobody makes you do anything. It's your reaction, your emotions, your control that you let go of. So when we fail, what is our course of action? Are we just going to wallow in that?
Yeah.
Or are you going to make progress to make it better the next time?
Yeah. Now, how are you going to correct yourself? How are you going to move forward? And
that doesn't always have to be alone either.
No, like you said, you have mentors. You have a group of friends that you're open with that you can rely on. How are you going to combat that failure into how are we going to avoid this for the next month? How are we going to avoid this on the next episode or scenario?
And sometimes when you fail, you won't get it perfect the next time.
No.
But as long as there's measurable progress.
WD-40 took 40 tries to get it right. So what happened? We would be without WD-40 if he would have stopped at the second try or after the first one.
I don't think that's what the 40 means.
It does. It is.
Really? I know Glock 17, like each number is like a new patent that they improve upon. So if they wouldn't have kept going, we wouldn't have had the Glock 23 or the Glock, 42. But regardless of that, it's how you recover and it's how you position yourself in your own perspective. Imposter syndrome is just insecurity. Take care of yourself, reframe your mind, look for your achievements. And I know I've talked to Caitlin and Lacey about this, and they actually have a old podcast episode, like from first or second season, talking about imposter syndrome. And that's a really good episode.
Ours is better.
Oh, always. It's us. Come on, man. But
imposter syndrome.
It is a thing. A lot of, and I'm not like one for, hey, acknowledge your mental health, I'm not that kind of person, but I do know where I lack and I know what I struggle with, and I do struggle with this.
This is off topic, but speaking about mental healthness, I think I said it right. Yes. Mental healthness. Yeah. June is men's mental healthness.
Yep. I find it funny that it's also Pride Month.
Well, that's this. We're firing Kiefer. You want to join me on these?
Anyways, Men's Mental Health Month.
Yes. If you are a guy or just a gal or woman, man, there's 2 sexes, male and female. Take it serious, because I've dealt with it personally with close family members that didn't get help. And it's not a joke. It's not something to laugh at. If someone is going through mental issues or mental struggles, encourage them to seek help. Encourage them, be an open book, or be someone they can be open to. You're not weak because you need help. Yeah. I don't know how many times like I'm feeling depressed or anxious or whatever, and I bottle that up because I don't want to unload that on my wife and tell her like, hey, look, I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling that. And I just go about my day because I'm a man and that's what I'm supposed to do. And Chris Rock said, I think it was Chris Rock who said it. Father's Day is the least popular holiday of all. It's 20th on the celebrated list. It's Christmas, Mother's Day, and then I forgot what the other ones were. But we were nowhere near the top 10.
No.
And it's because as a society, as a man, you're supposed to deal with all the shit.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I've been there, done that. But you have to have a group that you can talk to openly and get some of that shit off your chest. Like, I mean, whether it's a group on Facebook with people you don't know, whether it's a group of people that you've known all your life, whether I wouldn't suggest doing it with your wife because you have to have boundaries. You have to.
Yeah. You can't unload. Your wife should know what you're going through and what's on your mind.
Yes.
But she is not the dump for you just to dump everything on.
By all means, no.
And that's what a lot of, like, that's one reason I don't just like, hey, this is what I'm mentally dealing with. And she's going to watch this episode and look at me and tell me like, what the hell, Kiefer?
Yeah.
What the hell? But at the same time, that's why I have mentors. That's why I have people that I talk to and go to and I have that relationship with, so she doesn't have to deal with that. But I always see ads and the other podcasts I listen to, BetterHelp. Simple phone call, online therapy. If you need it, go for it. It's something that's very looked at as weak for men to get mental help. But 80% of suicides in this world are men.
Yes.
92% of the prison population are men. 60% of homeless people, men. There's a lot that we deal with. And today's topic is only a portion of that.
Yeah,
right?
Most definitely.
And it goes so much deeper, so much wider than we could ever imagine because as a society, we're taught just to bottle it up. Men don't cry. Men don't have emotions.
There is a new song that just came out.
Dax, what it is to be a man.
Yeah. But there was one guy on the remix and I want to say he's a preacher, and I might be wrong, but in his verse, he said there's 2 words to remember is that Jesus wept, and so can you. Yep.
And that, I binged that song, and now that the remix is out, I binged that song because there's the woman's perspective in that too. There's 2 different ladies that do a verse, and it cut deep when I was listening to it because it's like, I don't want to acknowledge these things. I don't want to because I've been taught we don't acknowledge these. But at the same time, the reason we're at the place we are mentally as men, as husbands, as dads, as fathers, as leaders is because we've been taught these things. And there's the nuclear family is being thrown apart. It's not worth anything anymore. Government should be your daddy.
Yeah.
And men aren't supposed to say anything about anything other than providing. And they wonder why we have a month for mental health. You don't have a women's mental health month.
I'm not going to get into that subject.
That's the rest of the months, right?
But no, on serious note, if you have insurance, or if you're at a job, a lot of, like here at our job, I don't know if you knew this, but you have, I think, 6 or 8 free hours of to talk with a therapist.
How many of those have you used?
None.
Goes right back to what this episode is. Yeah, no, I didn't even know we'd had that.
No, but we have those. And I encourage, like in my meetings, like or with the guys when I'm talking to them, what does that sound?
My computer's going crazy. That's the fan on my computer.
Oh, but no, you have a hotline you can call, and you have 8 hours, and they even tell you there's ways around that. Once you hit your 8 hours, you have 8 hours per topic. So if you finish your 8 and you feel like you still need more,
tie it to something else and you get more.
Yes, correct. So there's plenty of resources out there that people can use to get the help if they need help mentally, or to be able to talk openly with somebody without any strings attached. Or even just if you're at a place where they don't offer insurance or anything like that, you have health points, or you have clinics that you can go to and they can give you resources, or you can call 211 or 411, whatever it is, and they can give you resources to where you can reach people to help you out with those topics.
And it's nothing like, this was a very vulnerable episode, right? We're talking about our feelings and things we're dealing with.
No, we're men. We don't have feelings.
Yeah. But needing help is not a sign of weakness.
No, it's not.
To me, that's a sign of strength, because you have the courage and the willpower to say, hey, I can't do this alone. And that's what we need to realize, is even dealing with the imposter syndrome. I can't do that by myself. I need help with that. And I've gotten better over the years. But at the same time, I still know I struggle with that. And I get, I talk to people about that. I self-examine myself. Where am I lacking? Where am I achieving? That kind of thing. And I look for that success in my life to be able to say, hey, look, I do deserve this. Even though my mind wants to default to the, you shouldn't be here. But at the same time, Men's Mental Health Month, get some help if you need it. If you're too ashamed, suck it up, full send it, and get some help.
Nope. Till next time, guys.
Deuces.